Do you believe that we will be able to go to Mars this century?
And in the search for life, mostly on Mars. And a vision is really, really important to go further. Space technology and so on is male-dominated still. A lot of jobs available. The space sector is booming.
Pascale, welcome, and thank you for taking time to give me this interview. I'm very impressed that we managed to have a meeting here in Norway, by the way, in Oslo. And my first question is, what do you do in space?
Yeah, so I'm also very happy here, and thank you very much for inviting me. So I'm actually an astrochemist. So I started out to study astrophysics, and then I worked on organic molecules in the interstellar space. And then I actually moved a lot into planetary science and in the search for life, mostly on Mars. And yeah, it's a very, very exciting topic. I've worked on many, many space missions. And then I moved a bit into policy. I studied again management, and I wanted to shape, what kind of missions we will develop. And I work a lot in space policy, in particular in space exploration.
Yeah, so you are supporting the mission to Mars of Elon Musk, who wants to bring the humanity to Mars?
Well, I think this will still take some time, First, we have really to understand, how humans react in this environment, that they are safe. There are many parameters which we have to study in human medicine. But certainly Mars research is something which has developed amazingly, looking for water, looking for life. And there is an age for human exploration of Mars.
Do you believe that we will be able to go to Mars this century?
You mean this century?
Yeah.
Well, that it depends on how much research we are doing, because we have to bring astronauts back safely. And there is a lot of research which we will have to do in the meantime on physiology, on psychology, on radiation, biology, many, many studies. But obviously it is a vision, and a vision is really, really important to go further. In space.
Yeah, this is what moves us all forward. Yeah. Pascale, can you recall there is this photo that was taken in 1927 at the Solvay Conference on Physics. And on that photo, there is only one woman, who was Marie Curie. What changes have you observed in the space industry since that photo has been taken from one lady to how many do we have now?
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit younger than that, so I have to say, even in my time, I have really, seen the changes. So let's face it, the space sector and space technology and so on is male-dominated still. We have approximately 30% of women in the space sector, a little bit less in leadership positions, but it has been changing a lot in the last 20 years. I have seen that. You have many more students and female students and postdocs, and you see also a lot of more women in leadership positions, in the C-suite, in the space sector. And I think gender equality and diversity are two really, really important success criteria for all organizations, be it an agency, be it in industry. And I think we are getting there. It will still take some time and needs a lot of motivation for women actually to enter the space sector.
But even here during the Glock, I've seen there been some really incredibly talented women on the stage that were, participating very actively in the panels and the GNF, for example, like General Networking Forum discussions, and I was really proud.
Well, we have to say that the International Astronautical Federation, we really strive to have this gender equality, in particular in panels. So we really try to manifest, a program which shows gender equality, and we have also a lot of other activities, which foster, gender equality and diversity, like the IDEA platform. So that is important. But in other conferences, we see that there is a changing trend, and we have a really, really talented workforce, and in particular in the younger generation, we have a lot of women, and I'm sure they will do great.
Yeah. You have been recognized for your contributions in the space industry and your work in promoting women's involvement in STEM. So, what advice would you give to young girls aspiring to start a career in the space industry?
Well, in particular in the space sector, be it in Europe, be it in the US or in Asia, there are a lot of jobs available. The space sector is booming. And so actually, when you enter, science, engineering, but also related subjects which are important for space, you can be pretty sure that you will get a job. So that's, I think, a very, very big motivation because of this accelerated the development of the space sector. You need, hundreds of thousands of people in the next 10 years, and you need a lot of upskilling and reskilling. So I would say go for it. Mm-hmm. And there are so many interesting topics, to conquer, and I think it's just a really good choice.
And when we talk about interesting topic, it's not just science, right, or astronomy. So we talk a lot about these things. Even during this conference, I've noticed that we were talking about that we need more professionals from different disciplines, from different fields to attract to the space industry. What is your opinion?
Well, of course, the space sector is really influencing a lot of other economies, and with space data, we regulate transport and finances, and of course, we try to help combat climate change. There are so many avenues where space data are actually important, and so you can actually come from any field. And for instance, because we talked about human space exploration, there you need to have a medical background, for instance. We need a lot of space lawyers in the future in order to, formulate and execute regulations. Really from many, many different backgrounds, it's important. It's not only physics and astronomy.
Yeah. What role do you see for the space industry in addressing global challenges such as climate change, and what measures need to be taken to ensure the industry is making a positive impact?
Well, I just moderated a panel on space sustainability, and obviously we have many, many satellites in orbit, maybe more than 8,000 now, and these data are really, really important, but even this has a carbon footprint. So manufacturing satellites, testing satellites, launching satellites, that has all a carbon footprint which has to be evaluated. And what I've seen as in this panel, which I just moderated, is that on agency level and an industry level, these sustainability officers in those organizations are really, really trying to put already measures together, working together, working in working groups in order, to help to analyze the carbon footprint and to really improve space sustainability. And so apart from the fact that we all know that satellite data are crucial for our daily life, be it in weather predictions, communication, transport, and so many things, navigation in so many sectors. Also, we have to look that we do all those space activities sustainable.
Can we do better?
Yes, we can do better by doing more research, because we do not know all the parameters yet, and we have to work together. And the second part, I think, is to share the data, because it's not a regional problem, it's an international problem, and we have to share the data in order to take measures together.
And we need to collaborate better.
We need to collaborate internationally. That was actually something which was always intrinsic to the space sector and to many of the organizations like the International Astronautical Federation, the Committee on Space Research, and many others.
Yeah. As a president of the International Space University, by the way, congratulations on this new role that was announced, I think, in Paris.
A year
right?
ago, yeah. A bit more than a year, yeah.
What challenges do you see in the space education?
Well, I think there are a lot of challenges, but the International Space University has been always very much on the forefront of or visionary of having, for instance, an interdisciplinary education. And we just discussed how important this is, that the space sector is actually connected to all other economies. So an interdisciplinary education, thinking out of the box, that's what's crucial, and that is what the International Space University is already doing since 36 years. That was already the idea of the founders. However, you have to keep pace with this very, very fast accelerating space sector. And we, of course, have to change our curriculums and also formats of courses which we give to, keep pace with these very fast developing changes. And that's important for us. We just created a new master program, an accredited master program, which really should really reflect what's going on in the space sector and prepare the people really for the next workforce. And we try to do a lot of also thematic and focused courses, on space disciplines, which are quite modern and important right now, like, for instance, space medicine. And so there are many, many things which are really important also to engage society, because that will really much determine how much money goes into the space sector. And when we see last sentence, when we see these new space stations and concepts, that all involves already, society and at large. And we hope that, space will be open for many people in the future.
And could you share a sneak peek of your plans for the ISU, let's say, for the upcoming couple of years?
Yeah, we really want to branch out more in the United States, but also in other regions in Asia and, for instance, Africa, in order really to educate, globally. And there are, for instance, many important issues like reskilling and upskilling. We want to create new courses and be helpful in creating the workforce of tomorrow.
Yeah, incredible. Great plans. And my last questions, I assume we're going to see each other at the ISC in Baku. And so what are your expectations?
I have great expectations. I have been to Baku. I have actually, looked at the conference center and the facilities during my term as IAF president. And I do expect that it will be really a wonderful ISC. Every year we are going somewhere else into a new region of the world, and it is always a discovery. And I think that in particular our hosts in Azerbaijan have done really a lot of work to make it very pleasant and intellectual and an involvement for the space sector to come to the ISC.
So see you in Baku.
See you in Baku.